made out of your plastics. So your cooker handles, those are made out of plastic. Why? Because those are bad conductors of heat, so they do not conduct electricity. So if those cooking handles were made out of iron or metals, and those switches and all, if they were metals, they could have conduct heat and electricity. Now the next topic is sonorous. So sonorous is the ability to produce sound. So most of the elements, because most of the metals, usually they are hard in nature, they can produce sound. For example, your bells and all, which you see at homes and all, the bells and all which you have in puja sthan and all, those are made of metals, and that's why they do produce sound. But non-metals, they do not have this property, they cannot produce sound. Now electrical conductivity is the same as that of heat. All the metals, they conduct electricity, and they are also known as good conductors of electricity. But non-metals and all, they rarely conduct electricity. So your non-metals are not good conductors of electricity. So one of the word given to us is here is a bakelite. So bakelite is a non-metal. It is made from carbon. So bakelite is that part of a cooker, that black handle is your bakelite. So you see that it neither conducts electricity nor conducts heat. So you also see those bakelites in ranges and all, those pliers and all, with the help of which we can cut wires. So you can see those are made out of bakelite. So what it does not allow electricity to pass to them. So with this we can say that non-metals are bad conductors of electricity. Now melting and boiling point. So metals usually they have high melting and boiling point, whereas non-metals they have low melting and boiling point. So out here you see all the properties of metals and non-metals given to us, and we see the difference between them. Now chemical properties of metal. So these were the one which we discussed, those were the physical properties. Now chemical properties are usually one related with chemical reaction. So whenever a metal reacts with oxygen, oxides are produced. As you can see, sodium reacts with oxygen, sodium oxides are produced. Magnesium reacts with oxygen, magnesium oxides are produced. So this chemical reaction are very much important. So I hope children will remember this chemical reaction. So whenever metal reacts with oxygen, oxides are produced. Now whenever a non-metal reacts with oxygen, they also produce oxide. Like you can see, sulfur dioxide is produced when sulfur and oxygen are reacted. So more or less this property is same for them. What happens when metal reacts with water? So whenever a metal is reacting with water, as you can see out here, sodium is reacting with water, sodium hydroxide is produced, and along with that hydrogen gas is also produced. So sodium hydroxide, it's an example of a base. So hydrogen gas is produced. So this was the reaction when metal were reacted with water. Now we have some more reactions out here where metal is reacting with different forms of water. Like in this case, magnesium is reacting not with liquid water but steam. That means vapor. It is forming magnesium oxide. So magnesium oxide cannot be produced with normal cold water. For that we need steam. Then out here, zinc neither reacts with cold nor hot water. It reacts with steam. So we also see that zinc also reacts with steam. As you can see, H2 in the bracket it's written G. So that means it indicates it's a gas. That means it's in steam form. So magnesium and zinc, these are metals. They usually don't react with liquid water, but they react with steam. Now the next topic which we need to discuss is corrosion. So corrosion is a very interesting topic where we see that whenever metal is exposed to air and moisture for a long period of time, they start forming a brown flake at the top. So that leads to rusting, also known as corrosion. So basically it happens because of these two very important elements, your water and oxygen. So metal, whenever they come in contact with this substance, they form rust. So rust is very harmful for any substance. Metal loses their ability, their strength, their luster, they loses all their property, and it will be useless if any metals comes in contact with rusting. Now whenever now we see for non-metal when reacts with water, they do not produce anything because they do not react with water. Now whenever non-metal, they reaction of metal with an acid. So whenever a metal reacts with an acid, as you can see out here, zinc reacting with sulfuric acid, it is forming zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. So a salt is formed, that is zinc sulfate is formed, a salt and hydrogen gas is released. Now reaction with the base. Now whenever a metal reacts with a base, the substance which you are getting is sodium aluminate plus hydrogen. So if you see out here, sodium when reacts, aluminum when reacts with a base, that is sodium hydroxide, sodium aluminate and hydrogen gas is produced. So equation out here is not given, so it's a quite complicated substance. So non-metals reacts with base to form a complex salt. So that's why they have just given you the name reaction. They have not shown you the chemical form. So these are reaction of non-metal. Reaction of metal with a base. So non-metal, when they reacts with an acid, so reaction doesn't take place. So that's the key point. Now displacement reaction, as you can see out, the displacement reaction is the one in which one element is able to displace other. As you can see, X is able to displace Y, and in place like X plus YZ is giving you Y plus XS. So as you can see out here, X is able to replace Y, and instead it's forming bond with XH. So this is an example of displacement reaction. So some reactions are given to us out here. Iron when reacts with copper sulfate gives us ferric sulfate plus copper. As you can see, iron is able to displace copper, Cu, and that is able to form ferrous sulfate plus copper. So this is an example of displacement reaction. So with this we have finally some uses of metals out here. So I want my students to go through this one, and also some uses of non-metals are here. Please go through this. It's very understandable. If you have any problem with this, you can text me in the group. And with this we end the chapter, and I want my students to do this one. Select the correct option, fill in the blanks, and this one, question number 9. Thank you.